Bitcoin fell by over 4.6% in the last few hours. We've seen a dramatic drop in BTC's price. But is it as expected, or was this an unusual event? I'm going to be jumping into the technical analysis on Bitcoin, sharing my thoughts and opinions as to kind of where I think that price action is heading. Let's jump into the charts here and take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. As I do, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's check out the charts. So here we have Bitcoin paired up with USDT. We're on the 1 hour Binance chart, and following on from yesterday's conversation, we were talking and expecting a couple of things, right? We obviously were talking about rejection from this area of $61,045 to $61,267. We saw, of course, a bit of a wick to the upside just here. This wick coming in on the high of $61,400 if I can actually talk. Okay, so this particular area was a very interesting to the penny kind of scenario that always happens on Binance charts. So here you can see rejection and a move down. We were talking yesterday about this being a fantastic place to short. I was going to put a short in on the price action at the $61,040 range. We're going to put the stop loss higher than the previous swing high. So that was going to be this area just here because we didn't think that was likely to get broken. I would have put it somewhere around that 61,895, and we were going to target out 1.5 risk reward ratio, and specifically this area over here of resistance. Okay, we obviously came down quite aggressively, would have taken profit very early on this one, but it would have been a great take profit area to be, as we can kind of see right inside here on the chart. So for Bitcoin's price action, great trade that we would have completed, and of course it came down a little bit more, but we don't care about that because what we care about essentially is just about making money. We don't care whether the price action is going to be, going further. We're not about the greed. We're not chasing 100, 200, 2,000% gains on a trade. We're not doing 100, 200x leverage. That's not what we're about. We're about making consistent trades and consistently extracting money from the market. Okay, so as I've been talking about for a while, the market is basically just being liquidity extraction. Okay, so these are things that you can take advantage of if you're aware of what you're looking for. So great trade yesterday, as we were talking about. We were, of course, talking about this area of 61,615 to 62,143 up here. We're talking about how it is not ready to be that move. We're not looking for that one to complete yet. It's something that maybe that might happen in the future, but it wasn't going to happen anytime soon, of which, of course, we saw. So we saw this move to the downside, and we've seen this next surge to the upside. Now, my minimum expectation on the move to the upside has already been met, but we could potentially see a little bit more on this relief rally. Okay, so we kind of have to measure our distances here. We have a double bottom, but with this wick on the 0100 hours this morning is the lowest one. Our targeted expected range is going to be right in here. This is a typical range between 59,966 to 60,250, and I'll remove the fibs so you can see that's the target range. This is going to be a three-wave pattern here, here, and here, and that is going to mark a wave 4. But if I go ahead and mark out the wave 1 low, which is actually quite difficult to see, it's either this one or this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop down into a 15-minute chart, and we're going to take a look at what's going on. And we have this little bounce here, so our low is indeed there. So we'll come back in, meaning that our wave 1 low is right here. Okay, and that's really important because the price action should not go higher than $60,324.33 in order to keep its structure. If it does, it breaks its structure. This means that we have a potential short opportunity here. We don't want to go long on the market just yet. I think a short is the one that we're looking for. So how would I approach the market? Well, I'll be looking at shorting the market on this entry here, somewhere around that 59,965. The stop loss just above that break of structure, which would happen at the 60,324. So my stop loss will be 60,357. And the take profit, well, the take profit would have to be a wave 5 low point. So what is that? Well, that would be based on the conservative range targets here, putting my take profit down at 58,217. The actual target range would be between 1.236 and 1.618. This basically would be 57,686 to that 58,217. But I like to be on the conservative side, and therefore my risk reward ratio on that particular short trade opportunity would be 4.44. Okay, that there is what I think is the most probable move. Of course, if we break that structure, we hit the stop loss. That's why the stop losses are there. Structure has changed and we can reanalyze. We might still drop down under a different pattern, but ultimately, this is a part of trading. You're not going to win every single trade. You're just going to basically use probability. If we can win, I think we've got a current success rate in our Discord server around 80 to 82%. So if we can win the majority, then we're in a really good strong position. And it comes to using proper risk management, you can lose like 70% of your trades and still make money. So it's important to note that not every trade is going to be successful, and that's the important part of having a stop loss. So here we can see that this is going to be our 5-wave pattern right in here, and it would look like this. Okay, it's a big wave 4. It typically is actually a little bit more than you would normally expect. We would actually expect this to be finished all around the kind of 200 EMAs, but it is what it is. As long as it doesn't breach 60,324, then we're in a good spot when that comes to that kind of short trade opportunity. I'll leave that on there for the purpose of the video so we can check it in the next couple of days, whether it kind of invalidates, whether it even triggers, or just we just managed to make some more profit as we have done over the last few days. Right, okay, so that's the 1 hour time frame. It's a 5-wave drop, which is not what you want to see, but it does indicate that there's a bigger reversal in the market here. We can't have 5-wave patterns stacked up next to each other like this, so we know that this move to the upside has completed and we're starting a new move to the downside. We will look for a bounce, of course, after we complete the 5-wave move, so there is a long opportunity somewhere down here as well, where we can then still go out, moving that into profit at some point as well. So we'll talk about that in the next couple of days, but for now, that's where the hourly chart sits. Moving this up into the daily chart, it doesn't actually change much of what we've been talking about. We are still looking for these moves towards $55,000 to $56,000, and we are still talking about $65,000 to kind of $66,000. We are just in the middle of kind of trying to complete out these patterns. Okay, so it takes time. It's basically seeing a lot of pumps, a lot of dumps, lots of liquidity being extracted from the market, a lot of people kind of getting hurt by it, but ultimately we're kind of just doing everything that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. It's just taking a lot longer than many people are wanting, but we're going to look for that 55 to 56, and then we're going to look for that 65 to 66, and it's going to basically shock a lot of people, but this is where I think we'd like to find the resistance, and we're probably going to come all the way back down where we do see this move towards $40,000 at some point in Bitcoin's future. Hopefully we can avoid that, but for now that's kind of where Bitcoin is unfortunately looking. It's one of those. It's going to see a lot of volatility and lots of opportunity for investors to make substantial amounts of money as time progresses. But like I say, if you zoom out of these charts, we can see the bigger pictures that are going on. $40,000, $42,000 Bitcoin, it is not the end of the world. This would actually set us up for a fantastic surge towards that $100,000, which I do think we are likely to see at some point in the near future, right? We are looking at 2025 being a fantastic bullish market when it comes to Bitcoin, right? This is just about being patient and waiting to see these things come to fruition. So for Bitcoin, we're going to be, basically taking advantage of the market with our trading bags, not our hodl bags. Our hodl bags are completely separate. We have the hodl bags for dollar cost averaging, building out the long-term vision. But for trading, there's lots of money to be made by basically going long, going short, using leverage. And of course, I use 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 for those. Links are in the description if you haven't already checked them out. Go ahead and check them out if you are looking to start trading. But I do recommend that you do paper trading to start with, demo trading if you're new. Otherwise, join a good community like our Discord server to learn a little bit more about what's going on in terms of the trading side. So hopefully you found it useful. If you did, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, check out my second channel just up here where I go through the Cardano technical analysis.